Did you know that it is possible to decipher others' thoughts using just 3 simple strategies? Let's examine what these strategies are and how to apply them. These skills are essential for overcoming any circumstances, as mastering them makes it much easier to interpret and understand others' thoughts. Let's explore a Stoic-themed story that illustrates how to decipher others' thoughts. The story unfolds as follows. In an ancient village lived 2 brothers. The elder was blind and spent most of his time at home, while the younger tended to farming. Often he discovered that their field was ravaged by wild animals. Concerned about this situation, the younger brother finally found a solution. He thought, why not ask my blind brother for help to keep the animals away from the field? He could stay among the crops and alert at the sound of any animal noise. After reflection, the younger brother built a small hut in the field and moved his elder brother there, explaining, "Brother, if you hear a suspicious noise, just shout to scare the animals away. This will protect our harvest." The elder accepted the offer and began his role in the field. Whenever he heard an animal's noise, he shouted to scare them off. Days passed this way until a deer swiftly crossed the field, damaging part of the crop before fleeing. Shortly after, the king, who was pursuing the deer, arrived at the scene. The monarch addressed the blind brother and asked if he had seen the deer pass by. The blind man replied, "Your Majesty, I am blind. How could I see a deer? However, I can assure you that the creature that fled from my field is not worth your hunt. You are wasting your efforts in vain." The king was stunned by the blind brother's statements and questioned him about his knowledge. He had doubts about the truth of the blind man's words, for despite his blindness, he expressed an opinion on the deer's significance. To this, the blind man replied, "Your Majesty, the creature you are pursuing is actually a pregnant doe. I don't recall the king ever pursuing a pregnant doe, so I consider your zeal useless and not worth wasting your efforts on." The king, impressed by this, could not understand how the blind man had determined the doe's condition. He wondered how a person without sight could be so certain. Driven by the desire to verify this, he ordered his commander, "Capture that animal alive. I need to confirm if it is truly pregnant. The blind man seems very convinced, and I must investigate this. Go and confirm its condition." The commander received the king's orders and set off. Upon his return, he confirmed to the king that the blind man was right and that the doe was indeed pregnant. The king, filled with astonishment, could not understand how the blind man knew the doe was pregnant. He wondered how the blind man could know, how he could be so certain. Questioning the brother to clarify the mystery, the king said, "I could doubt that you are truly blind, but I have come to ask you a question. Are you ready to give me an honest answer?" To this, the blind man replied, "Your Majesty, ask what you wish, and I will answer with complete sincerity." The monarch said, "You are a person of exceptional insight, and it seems you have a deep understanding of various matters. I have summoned you today to know if my wife is cheating on me." The blind man replied, "Your Majesty, what has led you to ask such a question? Your union has lasted many years. Why then do such doubts arise in your mind now?" However, the king insisted, stating, "You must answer this question, or you will be executed." Faced with the monarch's threat, the blind man expressed, "Your Majesty, to give you the answer you seek, I need you to fulfill one of my requests." The king asked, "What is it?" To this, the blind man replied, "For this, I need to be alone with your wife in a room." At first, the king was displeased with this proposal, but he eventually agreed and ordered his commander to leave the blind man and the queen alone in the room. At that moment, the blind man expressed his intention to establish physical contact with the queen. Faced with such a statement, the queen reacted violently. After the conflict, the blind man managed to escape and presented himself before the king. Then the blind man informed the king, "Your Majesty, your wife is unfaithful." Enraged, the king drew his sword and approached the queen, warning her that any lie would lead to her execution. The question was about the queen's fidelity. To this she replied, "Your Majesty, you may take my life but not my honor." Confirming the truth of the blind man's words, the king quickly approached the blind man and asked how he knew his wife was cheating. The blind man replied, "Your Majesty, it was very simple. I mentioned to your wife my desire to touch her, and her reaction was so violent that she began to attack me. Instead of rejecting, she chose violence, touched by me in the process. Now tell me, how could she be faithful reacting in this way?" Impressed by the blind man's insight, the king exclaimed, "Your perspicacity is admirable. Continue. Give me the correct answer to another question and you will be freed." The king asked, "Tell me, am I truly my father's son or another man's?" To this, the blind man replied, "Your Majesty, does this truly trouble you?" Nevertheless, the king insisted, "No, I need a concrete answer or the doubts will consume me. I want to know the truth." The blind man replied, "Your Majesty, I can reveal your lineage right now, but first, I need your promise that you will not react with anger." The king, son of his father but also influenced by a greedy merchant, hearing this, immediately turned to his mother and asked, "Mother, please tell me the truth. Am I truly my father's son or another man's? If you don't tell me, I will renounce my existence right here." The king's mother replied, "Son, you are truly your father's descendant, but you are also influenced by a greedy merchant." Relieved, the king immediately returned to the blind man and asked how he knew a greedy merchant influenced him. The blind man replied, "Your Majesty, I have correctly answered several of your questions, but I have yet to receive any reward for it. I concluded your inclination toward greed." The king laughed and said, "Whatever you ask for will be given to you, but explain to me how you distinguish the true from the false, how you can give such precise answers." The blind man said, "Your Majesty, my blindness is congenital. If I had sight, I could have easily understood others' thoughts. The mind has its own language reflected in bodily movements. By observing the eyes, lips, and gestures, one can understand what is happening in a person's mind. But being blind, I perceive through actions to understand what a person truly is, based on what happens in their mind." The king asked, "So, could I also understand others' thoughts?" To which the blind man replied, "Without a doubt, you can also discern others' thoughts, but first you must work on yourself. This work involves calming your mind and focusing on the present. For this, today I will show you 3 simple and accessible methods. First, press like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of content. But let's return to wisdom. The eyes and body expression are the messengers of these emotions. In moments of sadness, they reflect such a feeling, while a sincere laugh that brightens the eyes and lifts the cheeks signifies happiness, kindness, and generosity. The eyes play a key role. When they are lively and sparkling, one can trust that the joy is genuine. Moreover, pay attention to the area between the eyebrows, where wrinkles form under tension, often expressing confusion, intense reflection, or the effort to understand something complex. The second technique, Your Majesty, is to observe non-verbal language. The body and hands can convey much without words, creating a secret language that expresses desires and feelings through gestures such as finger drumming or repetitive tapping noises, which may indicate boredom, impatience, or the desire to end the conversation. I remember once meeting someone who was very eager to sell me something. His fingers rapidly tapped on his knee, indicating disinterest or anxiety to finish our conversation. In contrast, a person who remains still and adopts a relaxed posture shows attention. This behavior reflects genuine interest and the desire to listen more. I recall how my insightful teacher often adopted such a posture. Though calm, he leaned forward with interest, showing his desire to engage further in the discussion. People who constantly touch their face during a conversation can give clues about their thoughts. These gestures indicate anxiety and hidden intentions. Similarly, hand movements can reveal much. For example, if someone quickly touches their nose during a conversation, it may suggest they are lying or not entirely honest. Paying attention to how they react to our words and understanding what's happening in their minds can help interpret their thoughts. However, before continuing, it is extremely important to focus your attention on the present. Only then can you observe all these behaviors, interpret them, and understand what's happening in the other person's mind. If you are stuck in the past or preoccupied with the future, you will never grasp the other person's body language and consequently won't understand their thoughts. Now, Your Majesty, let's move on to the third technique. Before I reveal it, so you can focus your mind, we can understand others' thoughts, especially when they are also focused on the present. It's important to bring our minds to the present to capture their thoughts. Continuing with the third technique, the blind man told the king that to understand someone's thought, observe their voice. The voice can reveal much about what a person thinks and feels. A rapid and excited tone on one side and someone who speaks slowly and relaxed on the other is likely calm and collected. Moreover, pay attention to the tone of the voice. A loud and sharp tone can express anger or frustration, while a soft and calm one suggests peace and relaxation. I remember speaking to someone who claimed to be happy, but their voice was tense and agitated, making me doubt their true joy. The voice can also express emotions, as in cases of sighs, cries, or sincere laughter. By paying attention to how they articulate words and use tone, you can easily understand their thoughts and feelings. That's all, Your Majesty. These are the 3 techniques I've shared today. Observe a person's eyes, body language, and voice. Focus on these 3 aspects, and you will easily grasp others' thoughts. However, don't forget that you must first focus your mind on the present. Only then can you observe, interpret, and perceive what's happening in the other person's mind. Thus, you will know their thoughts and enrich your existence. Applying these techniques in our modern life requires a conscious and deliberate approach, especially in a world where technology and distractions abound. To effectively integrate observing eyes, body language, and voice into our daily lives, here are some practical tips. Practice mindfulness. Before you can observe others, you must be fully present. Start your day with a short meditation or breathing exercises to calm your mind. This will help you stay centered and attentive to subtle details in interactions with others. Improve active listening. When conversing with someone, focus fully on what they say without thinking about your response. Listen with the intention to understand, not to reply. This will allow you to catch not only the words, but also the nuances in their voice that may reveal their true thoughts or emotions. Observe the unsaid. In our daily interactions, what isn't said is often as important as the words spoken. Pay attention to body language, facial expressions, and gestures. For example, if someone crosses their arms during a conversation, it may indicate closure or defensiveness, even if their words are welcoming. Practice empathy. Use your understanding of others' thoughts and emotions to respond with empathy. When you can perceive what someone feels, adapt your response to show that you understand and respect their perspective, even if you don't agree. Reduce digital distractions. In a world dominated by screens, it's easy to lose sight of the importance of human interactions. When you're with someone, put your phone aside to show that you are fully engaged in the conversation. This strengthens the connection and allows you to be more attentive to nonverbal signals. Practice regularly. Like any skill, the ability to read others' thoughts and emotions improves with practice. Look for opportunities to practice these techniques in various social situations, whether at work, with friends, or even during chance encounters. Stay open and curious. Keep an open and curious mind. Genuine interest in others, combined with the ability to observe attentively, opens the door to deeper and more meaningful relationships. By applying these techniques in our lives, we can improve not only our ability to understand others, but also how we communicate and interact, leading to more fulfilling relationships and a better understanding of ourselves. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope these tips will be helpful. Consider sharing with those who need to hear it. After all, wisdom must be shared to flourish. Comment with "I am Stoic," and I'll know you watched until the end. Now, whether you choose the path of Stoicism to the right or left, you have 2 Stoic videos that you'll enjoy. Until next time.